Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Rugby's Premiership Preview Show. My name is Alex Payne. Tins is here as usual. I think we're going to stop referencing Hask from this now. This is our little saucer of milk table for two. Candlelit.
Yeah. But it's beautiful. It feels beautiful and natural, and it's not loud, and it's just a nice tone, isn't it?
Gentle little pot around the weekend's games. We continue our quest to get a full house. We are getting close. That's 2 weeks in a row, I think, that we've been one out. And the reason I'm not mentioning Hask is that he's the only one so far. I think he only went 3 from 3, but whatever it is, he's still clinging to his 100%er. So we are on the road to glory. We're not quite there yet. Just before we get into it, how was the first recording of The Good, the Scaz, and the Rugby, which, of course, if you haven't heard, is the newest addition to our roster. Out very soon, probably out actually by the time this goes live, with Emily Scarrett, Elmer Smith, and Tins delving behind the curtain of the women's game. Some big name interviews and insight. How did you get on in week one?
No, I thought it was very good actually. It didn't start off that well in the fact that Elmer just sort of started talking, and I had a huge power cut at my house, and I was like, is this telling me something that I should not be on this show? But once we got back on and we got back cracking, it went really well, I thought, and I really enjoyed it actually. I think. For me, it's going to get better because you're going to learn a lot more about the game. I obviously watched the Gloucester Harlequins game on the weekend, but I'm going to get upskilled in terms of how the players feel. Obviously, talking about the World Cup being postponed, and was that the right thing to do? And I think it was a good starter for sure.
You know who we need on is Mia. She can properly lay down the law of the growth of the women's game.
Yeah, well, that's true. That is true.
Look forward to that. Good. So that's out very soon. We actually also had Emily on the main show as well, which was really good fun. She got a lot of overtime this week with Scaz, but it's really good to have her as part of what it is we're doing. And I think there's a really bright future for her show as well. If this is your first foray into the Premiership Preview Show, here's what you can expect over the next 20 minutes or so. Mike and I are doing our best to pick the winners through solid research and fact-based analysis. And then at the weekend, the teams that play do their level best to make us look incredibly stupid. We are looking a little less stupid than we have certainly about a month ago. Last week, we both got 5 out of 6. I was going to say that bloody club Bath, but Bath are consistently...
Your club. And my former club. Your club and my former club. Yeah.
They are consistently pulling our house down. They beat Exeter. Exeter beat them.
Yeah.
Really good at this. It's been a while since I've read.
We thought, because Exeter were in a bit of a funk,
and
Bath were obviously on a flying high. And if you tuned in at 30 minutes of that game, you would think we were on fire, because Bath raced off to an early lead, and it just proves the Norse knows his stuff, because I think the Bath have been in the lead in most of their games that they've ended up losing. So and then Exeter
and then when they're losing, they end up winning, like they did against Northampton.
It's madness. I generally think that having no crowds makes a huge difference to comebacks and stuff, because there's no momentum. When you go 16-0 up and you're at home or whatever, the crowd would be so with you. You'd be riding that wave. Whereas it seems momentum shifts are so sort of up and down, peaks and troughs, whatever you want to say, when there's no crowd in there, because you don't have the reinforcement of all the good stuff that you do. You just have silence and move on.
Let's move on. This week, Bristol against Wasps. We called Bristol Worcester as the biggest home banker of the season last week, and Bristol just about got over the line in that one. This week, the Bears down to one available fly half through suspension injury in the Six Nations. So Pat Lam has decided to put his boots... No, he hasn't. He's decided to put in the Welsh teenager Tiff Eden, who's played 60 minutes of first-team rugby in his life. What an opportunity. Did you ever get an opportunity like that where you just came from nowhere, told to bring boots and a gum shield, and you got a game? We always quite well sort of massaged and manoeuvred into position, if you know what I mean.
No, I don't think I would say I was massaged and manoeuvred.
Biggest bolter of all time came from nowhere, played the game of his life and never seen again. Tom French, who started at Loosehead for Wasps in a Heineken Cup final.
I remember.
Do you remember that?
Yeah,
and then I think he now plays Roslyn Park, or certainly did play Roslyn Park.
Yeah.
He just had one game in his life where he won a European Cup and then sort of was never really seen again.
I'm trying to think of anyone else who's done that. There's got to, if we put our heads together, we could.
Paul Hull.
Oh, it's a bit harsh on Hulley, is it not?
No, but played for England.
Yeah.
Played against in an autumn series in '94. Played against not Canada.
But it was it was a regular Bristol first teamer though.
I'm just talking about people who came amazing, but were, through no fault of their own, never seen again.
Andy Long.
He only got 40 minutes. Did he get? He got a second cap, didn't he?
I think he got a second. I think he got a second cap the week after, and then disappeared.
Unbelievable. Paul Hull, though, played amazing against South Africa in '94, and then got injured against Canada, and on came a certain M. Cat, and that was that.
That was that.
I love delving through the archives. Right, who's going to win? Bristol Wasps.
I'm pretty sure Wasps are in the doldrums at the moment. Still, I am pretty sure that this is a Bristol home win.
Yeah, I would go along with that.
I mean, Wasps lost 3 on the bounce. They had a win against Worcester, and then they lost the game to Northampton before that. They need a change in fortune. The dry pitches are coming, but they need They need their players back, I think, as well.
I do think, given the lack of depth at 10, that there is a chance for Wasps.
Yeah,
and it's the sort of game where I'm definitely not calling Bristol a banker in this one, but you just think that at home they just are. Currently at the moment they're a rung above, and therefore they should. So I would go with you on Bristol, but I see the whole house of cards coming down in game 1.
Yeah, well, yeah, I still think Bristol should be good enough, but they have had to shift. Purdy's in at 13. They still have Pieta at fullback, but they've had to make a few changes. But I just think they're still riding the crest of a wave, and a Wasp needs something. Could this be probably will pick Bristol, and it will probably be the turning point for Wasp season. So you're welcome, Dave. Right. You're welcome, Blackett.
We're tiptoeing out of the traps this week.
I just think, again, this week, every game is a hard call.
Newcastle hosting Bath. I'm not going anywhere near this one. You can make your own decision, and then we're going to move straight on. I'm sick of Bath. I would go Newcastle at home.
I am going Newcastle at home.
Are you?
Yeah. I'm going to stick mine because they can't do it to us again. Bath.
You reckon? I bet you they bloody do.
I bet you they do.
Tynesiders, if you like your stats, Tyneside have won just once since round 6. So not exactly backing a horse that's winning by numerous lengths in every race. Bath, though, have won 3 of the last 4. History would point to Falcons, who've lost just 1 of the last 6 between the two sides. What is wrong with me today? I can't get the words out.
I don't know. It's like that. It's like when you did that match.
All right.
I'm really sorry. I'm very, very sorry.
Having an absolute shocker. And it's come back again. Okay, Newcastle. But are you putting any substance behind that, or are you just sort of drawing a line through Bath because?
Yeah. Obviously, I don't really have any reason, but I just think that if I pick Bath, they'll definitely lose. And I would want to pick Bath. I think Bath should go win up there. Obviously, Newcastle lost to Sale last week, but they beat Harlequins the week before. I think they're I think in some way they are the more consistent team. So I think that I'm going to go with that. But then Bath will win by 20.
Right. Okay. Bristol with no conviction. Newcastle with no conviction.
But those 2 games are so hard to call.
What about game 3? Which is Sandy Park, Saturday lunchtime.
It gets even harder.
Second against third. Exeter against Quins.
The out of form Exeter that we talked about against the in-form Quins. I am sticking with Exeter. I think that in that Bath game, they looked like they had a bit of mojo back. I am worried about the state of Exeter's pitch, though. And also how I think that'll affect Quins more. I did a Zoom thing with Danny last night, and he didn't like the look of the pitch, so there could be a good chance he might be injured and not make the journey.
Oh, do you think?
It's a long bus. It's a long bus journey to go play in a mud
I
pit.
can just feel a calf twinge coming on.
Yeah,
that's on Thursday. Oh, I don't need to come in Friday. See you all on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I'm almost a bit of a spin the wheel. Exeter is definitely not. They haven't. They're not firing on a full choke. It's
just the most ridiculous. It's impossible to call. I mean, it's just so hard. And I know that people, but at least I'm sticking my neck out that it's going to be Exeter.
I'll tell you what is good about that Exeter Quins game is Simmons against Don Brandt.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. I did a rugby reclined with Sam.
And Smith versus Simmons as well.
Smith versus Simmons as well. Some really good matchups in that one.
Yeah.
I would go Exeter purely based on home form.
Yeah.
Not home form, home advantage. And that's with absolutely no conviction at all.
I'm just looking at can you hear Lena joining in? She wants to give us her answers. Right. I'm just looking at
she'd probably do better than we would.
The bookies. I mean, Harlequins plus 7.5.
Yeah, but you see, I can see Quins winning by 10 and getting beaten by 30. Do you know what I mean?
No, I still think Exeter. That's not quite enough for me. I think Exeter win that one.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sticking it out there.
Game 3.
I mean, just to put it in context of how hard it is, bookies Newcastle versus Bath. If you went for the handicap, 0.5. So they can't call it. So if they can't call it, how are we supposed to even manage it?
Game 4, Northampton against Salem. And if you're still with us at this point, you're loyal, and we'll thank you for that. It's another cracker, 5th against 4th at the Gardens. Sale have won 7 of the last 8 between the two of them. Are you going to go 8 out of 9?
No, I'm going Northampton here.
Right, okay.
Sharks are the favourite, but
are they really?
Yeah.
With what?
So they are -3.5.
Yeah.
So that if you wanted to just go straight to win, it's 6-10, and Northampton 6-4. I think I still really like Northampton when they get together, and I don't really like Sale. It's just ugly to watch with Sale, but they somehow get the job done. So I'm sticking with Northampton. I think play the better rugby. Go on, Saints.
I mean, what we're netting out with here is just home advantage is the only thing really that is separating.
With no crowds, it's just makes perfect logical sense.
I know. But what you have got, which is interesting, and if there's any kind of thing to hold your hat on, there's no real distance for Wasps to Bristol, but it's a long trip for Bath. It's a long trip for Quins. It's a relatively long trip for Sale. It's that. I mean, is that what we're now basing it on? Is the length of the bus journey?
Yeah, we're doing it on mileage.
Right, on mileage. Okay. In which case, I'll go with Northampton as well, based on nothing but mileage.
Perfect.
Gloucester-Leicester, Game 5. Cherry and White's looking to make it 3 wins on the bounce, having climbed off the foot of the table for the first time this season with victory over Wasps.
I am sticking with my boys. I'm hoping that we've turned the corner, and I think Gloucester are going to do it now. Again,
good game this one, actually.
Yeah, I mean, off the back, but Gloucester won the last 2. Obviously, Leicester lost to Bristol Bears, and then they beat an Irish last week. But I think it's what Gloucester needed, and I'm going to stick with them.
I think there are 1 or 2 funny things going on backstage at Leicester. One of the not Tom Harrison. One of the players left this week. I don't know who it was. Sorry. One of the players left this week with a sort of 3-line cursory farewell. I don't know what that's about. I think Gloucester, a little bit of wind in the sails. Home advantage.
Bigger pitch.
I really can't give more.
Bigger pitch, more expansive.
Yeah. What the bookies giving that out of interest?
The bookies are Gloucester are favourites. They're 2-5 on. But if you wanted handicaps, they're giving Leicester a 6.5 point head start. Yeah,
I'd take Gloucester just as an outright win.
Yeah,
I think I sort of feel safe at the moment going with the bookies because if they can't get it right, in God's name, are we meant to get it right?
And they do get it right far too many times as well.
Yeah. The house always wins. I reckon Gorgeous George is just beginning to enjoy it. Work it out. I think Gloucester will sneak that one.
Yeah.
And that leaves London Irish against the Worcester side, who lost 9 straight matches. Their last win came back on November the 21st against. London Irish.
Who is it?
I like Irish. I'm going with them.
We know we fanboy Irish, don't we? So
fanboy Irish.
Yeah, I would take Irish. Worcester.
Are you quite enjoying
Worcester 8.5? Doesn't really excite me either.
Are you quite enjoying Irish's style at the moment as well? There's a bit in the game, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, and you would say they sometimes don't get everything that they deserve, and hopefully it'll click to them where they can hold on to a few more wins, because I do like the way they play and how they approach the game. So up the Irish.
Up the Irish. I think that's a really interesting point, actually. And you often see teams who come up who don't get what they deserve. It's a sort of new kid in school type mentality. They just don't quite know what all the shortcuts are at school and how to get away with it, and therefore they get stung, and they need to relearn that sort of street smart life.
But one thing they do, and Irish have proved it though, is they never give up. So people, you look at the Bristol game, for example, you get complacent, they'll keep playing for the full 80. Yeah. And and I remember Toby Flood telling me one time that was the biggest thing he learned in the Championship, was Newcastle would go up by so many points and think, okay, foot off the gas, and they never gave up. I mean, you don't have to look at the fact that Sarries lost their first game. So.
What about Pirates? I was about to say, what about Pirates?
Yeah, incredible. It's so interesting. It's a cup final for every single game when they play Sarries, and I think I don't think it's going to happen too many times, but it's not the way they wanted to start, that's for sure.
Well, it's not if you come off the back of an England campaign where you've been, heavy going, and suddenly you're then trucking off to Jersey to try and save your season. I tell you what, some of those players, if they do make Lions tours, going to be coming in off quite a roller coaster.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the thing. I digress a wee bit about the Lions tour, and obviously someone like Sam Underhill, who can't come back into the England bubble because it's so strict. It's going to make for interesting selection for Gatland, isn't it? Yeah.
I think, though, that we will end up with a 4-test series in the UK, and I reckon there will be a shed load of players that end up. I think there'll be players who play in a test match who possibly aren't even in the squad for the first test.
There you go. You heard it here first. This is the insight you tune in for.
Don't you think? Don't you?
I understand why you're saying it. Yeah.
4 consecutive Saturdays.
I understand why you're saying it, and it could. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it means that all those Scottish players who are in Australia don't get called over.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's
they'll have a lot more choice.
That's very true. That is very true.
But there will be a lot more Scottish people in this Lions tour. For sure.
And deservedly so.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, we haven't done this. Quick scoot through the weekend's games. Italy, Wales. I'm going to say Wales by.
25.
Yeah, that feels about right, doesn't it? England, France.
Well, look, I've looked at the bookies. France plus 1.5 all day long.
Yes. I think it might be France by 10.
It could either be. This is a problem with rugby. We go. It could either be. So we're basically not giving you any insight. If England sort out their penalty problem, I think playing France could be brilliant for them in terms of if France can get their expansive game going, because it'll force England to play. And then hopefully we just get that sort of cracker 44-40 or something. Wouldn't that be nice?
You heard it here first. I'd be amazed if you hear it again.
Take total points. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay. And what's the other one? Scotland, Ireland. Scotland, Ireland.
Again, I mean, how hard could it be to pick games? You would... Scotland. For no logical reason, except that I want them to win.
Yeah, okay. I think I'd go Wales. I like 25. I think France by 10. I think Ireland might sneak that one. I'm going to go Ireland by 3.
Ireland have been a thorn in Scotland's side over the past numerous years. Scotland have probably played better than them for 60 minutes in the last 2 Six Nations games, but have ended up losing them both. Have they taken that step forward? That Wales game sort of reminds me of the little step they still need to take to see those games out. And that's my worry against Ireland. I think it'll be tight.
Good. Right, go on then. Give us your Premiership bets. I'll give them to you. I think we've gone same again, haven't we? Bristol, Newcastle, Exeter, Saints, Gloucester, Irish. You changing any of that? All
No,
home wins.
Bristol, Newcastle, Exeter, Northampton, Gloucester, Irish. Yeah.
I wouldn't change any of those.
No.
Except for Bath, who are plainly going to win at Kingston Park. I think that's possibly the worst bit of presenting I've done in about 3 years. I'm very sorry to everyone for that absolute shambles. Well done, Tins, for saving that. What do you have to do now?
I'm going to go on Swift and do 30k.
Good on you. Well done. I'm going back to a debt collection meeting. I mean, no wonder I'm all over the place. I had a hell of a day of it. Nice little interlude. Well done. Speak to you again soon. That is it for what I think you can call some sort of a Premiership preview show for another week.
Remember, you've heard it here first.
You're only going to hear it here because everyone else got far more sense to get involved in this. Hopefully our tips will be of some use to you. Stay well away. Don't forget the main show this week with Hask, Ben, and Emily Scarrett. It was a lot of fun, actually. We had a really good giggle. Speaking of Emily, her new show, The Good, the Scaz, and the Rugby, is out today as well. You can find it here on YouTube. And the flagship, GBR, is back next Wednesday with an Irish legend. I'm really looking forward to that one, actually. That's You, Me, and He, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a lot to talk about with him.
Yes, there is.
See you on Wednesday for that one. And then back here for some more predictions, if you can call them that, in 7 days' time. Love and hugs. Bye for now.